Just to say, I'm Anushta Sivananthan. I'm Medical Director at Cheshire and Wirral Partnership Trust. I need to say I'm not a child psychiatrist. There's obviously plenty in the room if you do want to speak to a child psychiatrist. I'm not one of them. I'm an old age psychiatrist. However, what I would like to talk about is how at CWP we've used innovation, and particularly digital innovation, to be able to help improve health and well-being of children and young people. And I think as part of this, and I guess it alluded to it linked in quite nicely with the things that James was saying, was through play, creativity, and most importantly, co-production with the children, young people, and their families. So I don't know whether you've seen this slide. It's from the Centre for Mental Health, and it's a very powerful slide to talk about need. Okay? This is the need for mental health and wellbeing services in a population of 1,000 children. Some of these numbers are quite scary. We know that we focus on the top end, i.e. the 1 in 1,000 who might need an adolescent inpatient unit. They're very rare, okay? 150 in 1,000 children might need some intervention that prevents a crisis later on in life. The national ambition, and this is not a political thing, this is just the way it is, I guess, is for 35% of children who require mental health services to access CAM services by 2020. That means 2/3 of children won't be seen by specialist services. And another very, very frightening statistic from the Centre for Mental Health, there's often a 10-year delay in the first symptoms arriving in children and young people and then seeking help. So as part of this work, CWP has had to look at how we can support a universal system that helps and supports young people, so school nursing, health visitors, schools, parents. And as part of that, we've developed a number of steps throughout, and again, a child's pathway, to see how we can improve health and well-being. So the first area I'd like to touch on is the My Mind website, and again, launched in 2011 for World Mental Health Day. This is a website that was co-created by our children and young people. They sit on the steering group. They're the ones who lead the design, talk about what's important to them, understand what's important to other children and young people. It also helpfully provides support for professionals, and that includes all professionals, just not those in mental health services, and some simple self-help strategies. So how did we do it? And the reason I title this Not Child's Play is back to James's bit. It's about having fun. It's about engagement. This is not virtual, so there was pen, paper, paint, all sorts of things. These images and words are important to young people. That's the importance. It's what's meaningful. How do we connect people in? We ended up having a whole load of graphics, key ideas, discussion. And as I said, it's very important that the young people continue to innovate and develop this website. It doesn't just sit still on our Trust website. So using that, as I said, the My Mind website now includes Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. There are animated videos to help children and young people, and it's age appropriate, so there's kind of more cartoony type things for younger children, and for adolescents, more appropriate images and words. And I guess the important thing to say, and I have to say that even I wasn't aware of this in the organisation, we have a mindfulness video, which is an animated video of Max, which has had 169,000 hits to support mindfulness in children and young people. So building on from this, whilst this was a universal platform, we wanted to do something specific. And Fiona, sitting over there, with our child and adolescent mental health services, have developed the Next Step cards. Okay? And this is to support goal-based outcomes. Again, can be used in specialist services, but can also, more importantly, be used in universal services. Again, it's developed by young people. You can see some of the graphics. These aren't our our specialist mental health workers, okay? These graphics were done by children and young people. So what are they? They're a set of playing cards, and you think, oh, what's so fancy about that? The most important bit, again, is that these are words and images that were created by children and young people to help them to start to have difficult conversations. There's also a series of numbers starting from 0 to 10. So children can talk about where they are now, how they can move forward, and where they would like to get to. It's really important that the young person has control over this because it's their world. This is important to them. This is person-centeredness, and this is about using that co-production, co-delivered interventions, which are really, really important for that individual. They need to have control over where they're going with psychological interventions. And as I said, this is not just for use in specialist services, which we do use in our child and adolescent mental health services, but also to be used in universal services. This is what the cards look like. You can see the graphics. As I said, all done by children and young people. And building on this, we've now developed an app. So whilst the app is helpful for individuals, the other things that it can do is record data. You can pull off outcomes, and that can be used for commissioners as well. So again, this is about how do we use the digital technology, not just to help the individual, but be able to pull out outcome-based support. We've had some support, as you said, from our local CCGs, which has been brilliant, and we're commercialised this through our arm's length company in the trust called Nevexia. The next thing, just to say, this is just some feedback from children and young people, and I think this is one of the things, and again, leading on from James's talk, is actually, this is about things that are important to young people and finding ways to break down communication so we can communicate with young people, that we don't sit in a traditional stuffy office in that one-to-one way that we're used to dealing with adults in. There's ways of engaging children and young people into talking about very, very difficult things. We've then gone on to develop Team of Life. This is based on David Denborough's work in Australia. And this, again, is games-based, okay? This is about, and it's got lots of sport metaphors. Now, I have to say, I'm not a sporting fan, so I shall just leave it at that. But this is about building your own squad. This is about getting people to help you be the best you can be. It's about improving well-being. It uses narrative therapy, i.e. talking out children's experiences, validating them, how things can improve. It has been used successfully, as I said, in Australia. It's also been used in diverse areas, such as child soldiers in Uganda. However, we're using it in schools on the Wirral. There's a kit, easily structured, supportive, so people can facilitate these things. Again, it's the importance of having fun, it's the importance of connection, it's the importance of things being meaningful. And at the end of it, you get a certificate, okay? So that child or young person gets a certificate of achievement of the things that they've wanted to tackle. Again, some comments about how this has worked, particularly within school. About reaching goals, about building confidence, about connecting, about dealing with social anxiety. Again, we've looked at how we can develop this into an app, and this is work in progress. We've not quite completed it, again, to be sold through Nevexia. And we've also been able to secure some HEE funding to look at the impact of this using digital technology, Team of Life, peer-based support to improve resilience in children and young people. We go back to the scary statistic that 75% of all mental health disorders happen before the age of 25. Okay? There's a 10-year treatment gap. Programs like this, particularly in schools and other places, can help improve resilience and reduce that very, very scary statistic. And finally, I just wanted to touch on our inpatient unit. We talked about the 1 in 1,000 children who end up in child and adolescent inpatient units. You'll have seen nationally about people young children and young people travelling hundreds and hundreds of miles from home. To be able to have an inpatient unit that's fit for purpose for children and young people, it's got to be designed by them. So again, this is what it looks like. The quote from above is from our typical NHS estates, who are saying, what we would have normally done for an adult mental health unit just wouldn't work for children and young people. So again, using games, interaction, plasticine, paints, words that are meaningful, we've been able to create a unit that is fit for the modern age. And building on, and again building on from James's talk, just to say a little bit about what else, where we're going to next. Firstly, we're a tertiary service, so we take children from Cheshire and Merseyside. More and more, we're taking children and adolescents from further afield. So the development of an app will help not only support progress for that individual, but help connectivity with them, with their homes and their families and their support networks. The importance of therapeutic games and activities using touch screens, again, is something we're going to put into place. So this is the future for us. But if we come back to this, not very high tech, not very, something that we've all done. However, the impact is overwhelming. So it's not just about child's play. This is about how you connect children, young people, into help improving their health and well-being. Thank you.